Sadie froze.
Am
One
I
sec.
frozen?
Oh, no, you're
No.
good.
Am I
Yeah,
good? Okay.
you're, I have your face as frozen.
Oh no.
Oh no, you're smiling though, so that's a positive thing. I
Oh
will try to
no. Okay,
turn,
let me turn it off.
turn your
Darn
webcam,
it.
turn it back on, and see if that unfreezes it real quick. As you know, if you there you go. If you're working
Yay.
from home, nice moves. If you're working from home, you know that your internet may be strained, so it's something that we're dealing with. We are obviously both in our respective homes because we are quarantined. And Melanie said she will be sure to give us a hard time. Please feel free to do so. I mean, if it's not going to be you guys, it's going to be my lovely wife. So either way, it's coming. But I'm going to hit record wherever I'm going to find that button. There we go. All right. So HR managers, because we've seen a big uptick in people being quarantined and just deciding, you know what, I am 65, 66, 67. I've been thinking about retiring and I'm furlonged or I'm deemed non-essential by my state, so I might as well just retire. So when these people retire, what happens? We're going to talk about that today. All right, so I think it's important to know though, when you are dealing with clients and prospects coming off group insurance, there's a real big chance that they have never bought health insurance coverage because for 20, 30, 40 plus years, they've worked for a company that have provided it. So they never had to shop for it. They show up for work, they get their insurance either from their spouse or from themselves, and they don't have to worry about it. So they've actually never shopped for an insurance policy in their lives. And then they're turned to the wolves of Medicare and they're completely lost. And this is where you could truly step in with an HR manager to be the source of reason and guidance, not only for the HR manager, but also for their employees who are retiring or leaving the organization. And Sadie, jump in anytime.
Sure, yeah, I do just want to add on there. HR managers are the number one people in a company that get these kind of questions. They have incredibly limited knowledge about Medicare and they don't even like want to know. They don't even want to dive into that. So that's why we'll get into this, but that's why building that relationship with them is going to be so important.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point is, it's not that they don't care, it's that they have a lot on their plate. Not only they're worrying about new employees, people leaving, they're worrying about all the HR stuff that comes with their industry, which may be very limited or maybe huge responsibility for them. And I would say, just as a footnote that I didn't add in here, but when talking about HR managers, we're going to focus, I would say for you, to focus on local businesses. When you start going to major organizations, that HR person may be in another state and very hard to get a hold of because they may have a ton on their plate if they have 5, 6, 7,000 plus employees. But when you start talking about businesses with maybe a couple hundred employees or local businesses, just getting your name out there and really starting that networking is what we're going to focus on today. So when we start a new job, for most people, they get a benefits review and enroll in their new health insurance plans. And this will typically repeat every year, whether the company is changing insurers or they're just changing benefits or they're reviewing benefits. Every year there's typically a change, or maybe there's a change in their lifestyle where they maybe added a child, or something else would happen to where they have to change plans. But when it comes to leaving their job, it's basically HR says, you know what, your coverage is going to end May 1st. Thanks for your service. Here's your fake gold watch. Have a nice day. We're done with you. I've got 9,000 things to work on over here. I have time to sit down with you and talk about Medicare that I know nothing about because we don't deal with Medicare. Excuse me. So this is where you come in as an insurance agent to be that sense of relief and that information for your prospects. And as you can see from the chart, we have seen over the past couple of years that people start thinking about looking into Medicare at age 64. And the red bar is shopping online and talking with friends. This is the dark blue. And then the light blue is reading direct mail. So at age 64, 10 to 12 months out from age 65, they're thinking about, and they're starting to explore the internet. And this is where they start talking to HR. And HR basically says, you could have this program or we're going to drop you. And that's all HR does. So they start looking. And as you can see, that graph grows until about 3 months out when everything really hits the fan, when they're starting to get all those solicitations, when maybe they're starting to work less and seeing all those daytime commercials for all the carriers and on Alex Trebek talking about life insurance and all these daytime commercials, which you haven't seen. It's worth looking at some daytime TV ads because there's a lot of Medicare solicitations on there. But most importantly, this is when HR is really getting involved in saying, here's a letter of credible coverage, we're done with you. So not a lot of people are talking to insurance agents. As you can see, only 5% age 64 are talking to insurance agents, and at its peak, it's only at 17%, which is right over here. Let me highlight that real fast. So there's a peak. 17% of people actually reach out to insurance agents. How are they getting a hold of that insurance agent? Well, one way could be if you are partnering with an HR manager, they're going to say, look, you need to talk to this person over here. They know more about Medicare than I do. Talk to them. And that referral is going to be weighed far more than anything else. Erase that. Sadie, any words of wisdom?
I don't think so. I think other than just just keep in mind that the beneficiary is going through a lot, like at this stage in their life, this is a stage of a lot of changes, getting ready to retire, all that kind of stuff. So they're going to be under a tremendous amount of stress as well. So just like being there, that, like that kind of like almost like emotional buffer, give them the security that like everything's going to be a-okay.
Exactly, and that's what people want. They want to know they're making the right choice. And as I alluded to, a professional referral is far more powerful than a personal referral. If I tell you to do something, let's say you have a scratchy throat and you're like, I need to go see a doctor, and I say, you should go see this doctor, you're gonna be like, well, Mike uses them, but I don't know if they're gonna be right for me. Mike has different issues than I do, and Mike's, I don't know, I'm gonna talk to some more friends and family. But if you go to your primary care physician and you say, my throat hurts, and they say, you know what, I'm gonna send you an ear, nose, throat specialist to Dr. Frazier, go see them. Guess what's going to happen? You're going to go see them. You're not going to talk to friends and family. You're not going to search the internet. You're going to go right to that person. If an HR manager tells their employee that they've been working with for 20, 30, 40 years that you need to go talk to Sadie about your healthcare coverage, that person's going to say, great, I need to talk to Sadie, and they're going to call Sadie. They're not going to look on the internet right away. They're not going to question that referral. It's going to carry a lot of weight because the person that gave them that referral is a professional, and they've been turning to them for so long for that data that they're not just going to automatically do it, excuse me. So that's why it's so important to partner with other professionals, because if I trust you with this decision, when you lead me down this path, I'm going to trust that that is the right path. So
be that expert that experts are going to refer.
Exactly. So when you're aging in Medicare, when someone's turning 64, they're thinking about retirement, they're thinking about insurance, investments, income, location, health, all these things. They start to talk to HR, and they realize they're no longer going to be part of that insurance program. They turn to the internet, family, friends, mailers, etc. That's what we saw on that slide with all the charts is, you know what, they can't turn to HR anymore. And that's frightening to a lot of people. A lot of people may just freeze in their tracks and say, I don't know what to do. I guess I'll call the 800 number that popped up on the TV. And this is where call centers are winning, just to know. Not that call centers are bad, but this is where they have a leg up on individual agents because they have that marketing budget to run TV commercials, to run expensive ads online, to get in front of more people. So you could cut them off at the pass if you are referred by, an HR manager. And that's going to make a huge difference for you locally and probably across the state, because if you're doing with a company that maybe has a couple hundred employees, and let's say maybe 10 people retire every year, that's 10 additional sales from a professional that they trust. And they're not going to call the 800 number anymore because they've got your name and number. So definitely, this is why we're promoting HR managers. Again, when they say call this agent, they're going to call that agent. They're going to ignore the TV commercials. So this is how you 100% get ahead of it. Now, the question you might be thinking is, Mike, where do I find these HR managers? Well, first and foremost, talk to your clients. When you're talking to your clients or your prospects and you're having that fact-finding session, you're like, well, where did you retire from? Oh, I retired from this plant over here, or I retired from this job over here, or my last job was here. Ask who was the HR manager, I'd love to help them out and give them some additional resources for Medicare, who can I send that to? And I'm sure if you have a great relationship with that beneficiary, they're going to give you that information. So you can call and say, hey, and I would also back up here, ask to use them as a reference. So you could say, I just talked to Sadie who retired from you guys about Medicare. Can I send you some information to maybe help you out and give you some additional information? Who's going to say no to that? Most people, if you go about like that, say, let me give you some additional information, rather than please send me people, it's I'm here to help you, not to just pull business from you. So go in with a helping first attitude, and you're going to see that the more information you can share with them, that's going to make their job easier, the more they're going to rely on you for when those questions come up to say, I don't know the answer, I'm not sure, call Sadie or call Mike or call whoever's name's in front of them, and that name will be yours.
You can also offer to, in order to like help out the HR, you can also offer to do classes for the people who are aging into Medicare or who even are caregivers for those on Medicare, their loved ones in their life. So that's also just another way, kind of takes a load off the HR manager, kind of gives them the opportunity to kind of opt out and not dig into that Medicare knowledge that we've already established that they just don't have the time to know. So be that for them, offer those classes. That's also just a simple way to do that as well.
Exactly. And you can also find HR managers at networking events, maybe Chamber of Commerce or Rotary clubs, depending what's available in your area and the popularity of it. But you can go out there and get your name out there this is great for other professionals, but I know a lot of HR managers do attend networking events to talk to other HR managers for maybe recruiting reasons. A lot of HR managers are responsible for recruitment of new employees. So they're out there, hitting the pavement, talking to other industries, talking to other people, maybe looking for jobs. You could be on the other end of that spectrum of, once they get them in, here's what I could do to help them transition off their healthcare plan. Excuse me. And of course, there's LinkedIn. LinkedIn obviously is designed for business to business. Well, you're a business as an insurance agent. You could be doing business as a person on LinkedIn looking for HR managers. And again, I tend to go about this very lightly because with HR managers, because you want to be careful. You're not, let me back this up. So I sold in Kansas City. I didn't go to Sprint World Headquarters and say, hey, let me talk to all your retirees, because a lot of them have, huge HR departments that don't have time for a small individual agent. But you could go to smaller businesses and talk to them. So when you're looking at LinkedIn, don't think, oh my gosh, I'm going to call this major corporation that's in my backyard and I'm sure to get in. You're probably not. However, that doesn't mean ignore them, but look for medium-sized businesses that are more local. That's the way to go. And they may not have anyone that's going to retire for a year or so, but you know what? As you become more popular in your area, as they see more of your name, and as you help more HR managers, you're going to start seeing that reward come through. This isn't an overnight success because they have to trust you, first of all, and then they have to realize you know what you're talking about, and then they'll start sending business your way. And Melanie brings up a good point about SHRM, which is a professional organization for HR managers. If you could find a professional organization for HR managers in the area, like Sadie said, offer to do maybe a lunch and learn where you come in and talk about transitioning off group insurance onto Medicare and what that looks like and what questions their employees should be asking. So if you could go in with an education first mentality, they're going to be much more receptive as opposed to just another salesperson, because they're solicited all the time by salespeople. And I'm sure that's the last thing they want to deal with is someone saying, please send me business, as opposed to here are some resources. If I could help you, call me. I'd be happy to be your Medicare go-to person. All right. So during this meeting, I'm going to tell you, because I've sat with HR managers and I've given presentations before, and how you help the client's name again. So if I help Sadie come off of group insurance, I can call the HR manager, HR representative, and say, hey, I helped Sadie come off your group plan. I just want to tell you what I did, and I want to send you some information that maybe can help you if they have questions. And you want to be their resource when it comes to Medicare. You don't want to be just another annoying person. And they're going to be hesitant. You're a stranger to this person. They're going to be hesitant because you know what they're going to be thinking? this person's probably a salesperson and just wants something from me. So don't be alarmed by that. It's okay. And I would say just have a natural flowing conversation, because the next question I get all the time is, well, what do I say when I get them on the phone? Well, just have a conversation. It's as simple as that. There's no magic bullet to getting someone to trust you right away, other than being honest and friendly and not salesy. I think if you can follow those three things, you're going to do well in partnering with other professionals, especially HR managers that, again, have a lot on their plate and don't have a lot of time, may not have a lot of time to deal with you. So if you could send them resources every so often, that would be phenomenal. Another thing you could do, just a side note, is if you start building up this professional database of others, you can start doing a professional newsletter where every month or every quarter you send out Medicare updates relevant to other professionals, such as HR managers, financial planners, estate planning attorneys, changes in Medicare they may need to know. And they're probably not going to dive too deep into it. They're just going to say, oh, that happened. Well, if I get that question, I know to call Mike or Sadie, whoever else is in front of them. So keep it simple, keep it honest, and keep it free flowing, and you're going to have a great time.
You also have to keep in mind, as far as like them being hesitant, you're a stranger, they're going to be thinking, what's in it for me? Just how, that's just like how it goes. You want to make sure that you're not just, if you are just asking for referrals and giving nothing in return, you're going to get shut down. There's not going to be a relationship built there. Relationship's two-way street. So you got to give some to get some. So that's important. And then also just keeping in mind, never being that reference for them best, that kind of relationship building that way. Communication is a good thing to offer them, but just keep in mind, keep the money out of it, right, Mike? You don't want to never offer money for referrals. That kind of eliminates, there's no relationship that's built there, and it always goes bad. It never ends up being money troubles is a real quick way to kind of sever a relationship. So keep that out of it.
Yeah, and a lot of HR managers, I'm sure, can't take money for referrals or maybe under the table, which again, like Sadie said, I never paid for referrals in the field. I was always I was either a value add to their service, like an HR manager. You don't have a lot to give them other than information, as opposed to other professional partnerships, which may be like a financial planner or a estate planning attorney, where you could bounce clients back and forth. You can't really bounce a retiree to an HR manager and say, hey, look at this old fogey, they should really work for you. It's probably not going to happen. So you have to go with a value add approach to this type of professional partnership, where it's, hey, I'm going to be your resource and alleviate the Medicare headaches you're seeing on a maybe day-to-day or monthly or yearly basis. Let me help you do that. Another great thing to ask is, when is their enrollment season? Because if someone's kind of on the fence about retiring and the new benefits come out and they're like, all right, I'm done, make sure that you know that times, because it's not always AEP or end of the year. Sometimes it's June, sometimes it's February. It all depends on when their cycle ends for their insurance and or fiscal year. So just have a conversation with them. It really is a great way to meet people, a natural flowing conversation. Like we talked, well, lunch and learn with HR management team. If it's a small organization, and I've done this before, talk to small businesses where you have maybe 6 people in the room, you bring in some lunch and you say, hey, here's some Medicare updates. Here's some things if you have older people that you could do. You could actually give out a free discount RX card to them. Say, hey, if you have limited drug coverage, here's some freebies for you. We have an HR guide that you could personalize and send out to the HR managers. That will be in the post email, so watch for that, how to get that. And another important question is if they're using a brokerage. A lot of businesses use a brokerage, such as Lockton, or there's a big one called Miller in Kansas City, where they didn't do anything with Medicare. So if they say, I already have someone that does my insurance, the number one question I asked was, do they do anything with retirees? And some do and some don't. And if they do something with retirees, you may continue the conversation, but it's an uphill battle because they've already got that trusted resource with that brokerage, and that's okay. Is it worth your time to reach out to that brokerage? Yes, because if they say we don't want to work with you, you've lost nothing but a conversation, and that's fine. But maybe you might get in and get some referrals, and that could be a huge door opener. So, you're seeing where It starts off with the HR manager, can lead to referrals, can lead to a lot more referrals by you getting in front of the people that they work with. So you can have this great snowball effect of referrals and being known in your community by getting in front of the right people. So definitely partner with other professionals, because again, it can grow exponentially here. All right, Sadie, any words? Oh, I think we lost Sadie. Sadie,
Oh
if you're out
no.
there, oh,
Am
there
I
you are.
frozen again?
Yep, you're frozen again. Yay.
No. Maybe I'll just be a voice.
Okay.
Okay.
So important note here, make sure your internet is up to speed. Not that Sadie isn't, but you may have, there's a lot more traffic nowadays from people working from home. So just pay attention to that if you are working from home. But we are at least blessed with Sadie's angelic voice. So your ecosystem, and we talked about HR managers today, and again, the post email will deeper dive into what you should be doing with this, but you should have contacts with all these people: HR managers, financial planners, estate planning attorneys, CPAs, doctor's offices, pharmacists, other insurance agents, PNC, group providers, like we just talked about. The more people know that you specialize in Medicare, the more phone calls you're going to get. Will every phone call be a great referral and amazing? No, I somehow got associated with a therapy organization or a therapy office that called me every once in a blue moon about therapy questions in Medicare. I knew nothing about it. I helped them as much as I could. Never got a referral from it. But again, the more people know what you do, the more you get out there, and let that natural spread of your expertise get out there in the world. Because I'm sure me doing that, excuse me doing that helped me get in front of more doors. And the person that ran that therapy office was actually very popular in the healthcare community. So I was professional by association. We have guilt by association, which is this person's evil because they know that person. Well, we could flip that and say, well, I work with this person, I'm her Medicare expert. Well, now you're trust by association. So the more people you have in your corner, whether it be a value add service to them or maybe you do a more of an exchange for referrals, whichever way you want to run your business is fine. But like Sadie said, keep money out of it. And the more people you're in front of, the more you're going to spread. So HR managers, I think, are vastly underserviced, and it's just a matter of reaching out and saying, hey, let me send you some information. But the easiest way I found to do this, again, I'm going to repeat this again because it bears repeating, is talk to your clients. That's how I got in front of a couple HR teams that I worked with in Kansas City, was talking to your clients and then saying, hey, do you mind if I call them and say I helped you? And I've never had a no to that. I never had a no, don't use my name because, I just robbed the company of $3 million. That's never happened. So talk to your clients and say, hey, Bob, do you mind if I say I helped you and call your HR team? No, go ahead. You did a great job, Mike. Thank you so much. Not to pat myself in the back, but that will probably happen. So you call the HR team, hey, I helped Bob, your retiree, make a Medicare decision. I'm going to send you some information, just some stuff for your records. Is that okay? Yeah, go ahead. They may ignore the email. They may call you in for lunch and learn, and you could offer that. If you have Medicare questions or want better understanding, I do educational meetings. I'll even bring in lunch. You say lunch, and it's amazing how many doors you open. It costs a couple bucks, but that one referral they send you will pay for it time and time again. Because lunch may cost you 60 bucks, but if you sell, a MedSup or MA plan, you're going to make far more than that in return. So it's definitely well worth the investment. Remember, you're running a business and there are going to be some expenses. And sometimes that expenses is food, and plus you get to eat yourself. So that's always nice. So what to do from here? We kind of gave you an overview of why to work with HR managers, because they don't know a lot about Medicare. They have the time to know, and you don't want them to know because you want them to call you, but you still want to be your resource to them. So start reaching out to local businesses. See who's out there that's small to medium size, that maybe has maybe a little more elderly workforce, possibly, maybe not. Don't be afraid if there's not an HR team there. Talk to the business owner or maybe a manager there and say, hey, I've got some Medicare information. Let me give it to you. The number one way I did it was just have that conversation with your clients. Where did you retire from? Because most people are going to tell you that anyway. You're going to find the information out. Now it's time to use that information to help you and help the organization progress in the Medicare community. Attend networking events. This is great not only for HR managers, but for all aspects. Again, the more people that know what you do, the better your chances that your phone's going to ring because people are aware of you. If you have the best steaks and you own a restaurant and have the best steaks in your state and nobody knows about you, that's not good. So make sure you're telling the world what you do and going to the appropriate places to do that. Going to a high school and saying that everyone you do Medicare is not great, but going to a Chamber of Commerce meeting, or maybe an aid like Melanie said, the Society of Human Resource Managers, going there, great idea. Because I'm sure they have local outlets or local meetings that you could be a part of, and go in with the educational first mentality. I'm just here to give you some Medicare updates. That's it. I'm an insurance agent. They know you sell insurance. You don't have to sell them on the fact you sell insurance. They get it. Just like you don't have to understand that they do insurance for their company, you get it. So don't go in trying to sell yourself. They get it. Sell yourself as a resource, and they're going to realize that you're not a pushy salesperson that they maybe think you are without meeting you because you're an insurance agent. And not all people have the greatest mental image of insurance agents. Sometimes they picture us in plaid coats next to used cars. So be mindful of that. Go in and destroy that stereotype and bust down through to get some referrals. And of course, check out LinkedIn. Go on there and just play around to see what companies are local here or in your area, what medium-sized businesses you could talk to, and make a list and start reaching out. But again, my number one tip is talk to your clients. You're talking to them anyway. Use that information to your advantage. Sadie? Are you there? Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
I'm here. I'd say that, it's just all about becoming that local expert. It's all about becoming that expert that other experts are going to refer. I think if there's one big thing to take out of this is just becoming someone worth referring, and you got to get out there and you got to do that. You've got to build those relationships. You're not going to be able to do that if you're not out there and networking and connecting and sharing your knowledge with people, becoming someone that's trustworthy and building those relationships.
Exactly. And that's what we need to do. I'm trying to find real quick. We have a white paper going out. Let me back up here 1 second. Dun, 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 dun. There we go. All right, so we have a white paper going out to you. It is networking with other professionals. It is more of a generic guide for you, as you can see on the screen, but this will come to you in the post email, and it's going to talk about how to network in general. But again, for HR managers, make sure that you are being the voice of reason, you're not involving money, and that you are going and talking to your clients about what they should do. So again, this will come to you in the post email, so watch for that. Oh, I just went to the wrong screen as always. There we go. So a couple questions came up. What specific introductory information do you send to HR managers and others? You know what? I would say we have a little generic guide for HR managers, and it's a little about a 5-page brochure, and just gives some highlights and some excerpts from the Medicare New Book. So it's accurate information. I would send that out, but I'd always start with an introductory phone call. Don't pop in their office. A lot of people don't appreciate that without an appointment, because you don't know what's going on in their lives. They could be putting out fires, or they could be sitting with their feet up watching Netflix. Who knows? But make sure that you are calling saying, hey, I helped so-and-so, because if you call out of the blue, you're just a salesperson calling. If you call saying, I help so-and-so, you've got that association where they're gonna be like, oh, okay, great. I'm glad you helped Bob out. What can I do for you? And say, hey, I'm just gonna send you an HR guide. I don't know how familiar you are with Medicare. I'm sure you know a lot. And just assume they know, because it inflates your ego a little bit. And say, I'm gonna send you this guide. What's your email address? Just wanna give it to you if you have any questions, or if I can help you out, I'm here for you. And make it about helping them. So we'll make sure you all get access to that guide. Rodney asks, where can I find local businesses online besides LinkedIn? I mean, it's just a matter of I don't know if there's a list per se. I never looked for a list personally. I'm sure they're out there, and you can kind of look at, size businesses and such. I'm sure a lot of those are subscription based. My number one way, again, was just talking to clients, because that will have far better results because you have an association with that person then. So every HR manager I've cold called, and I've cold called some. I was never big in cold calling clients, but business to business was a little easier for me because, it wasn't a please buy insurance. It's just introductory. I never got through. The only HR managers I have worked with in the field are from people I helped retiring from that business. So that's your number one source. Focus on your clients, and this is a great jumping off point from your clients to reach out to other people. But great question. I wish I had a better answer for you. I just never use any of those services.
Real
Yeah,
question,
Melanie
Mike.
says, what's that?
Oh, sorry. Real question. A little bit kind of on topic, kind of not. Are phone books still a thing? Do they still make phone books?
I think they make great doorstops.
They
Oh,
make, do they make those anymore?
I have not seen one. I mean, you can Google businesses, and you don't want to go too small businesses because if they only have 5 employees, there's a good chance that no one's retiring from there.
That's
I
fair.
would I would focus on, again, medium-sized businesses being like 50 employees to maybe 100, and that's going to fly under the radar of a lot of those large producing firms that insure, like Deloitte is a big brokerage firm in America that insures businesses. They pretty much deal with large businesses, 500 plus employees. So go for maybe the 100. And again, it's not going to be a simple one call. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you called. Please let me hug you and send you all my people. It's going to take some time to build, and that's fine. They don't know who you are. But you could also look at the Chamber of Commerce website. They have everyone that's listed on there, and most small businesses are in the Chamber of Commerce. So Melanie, great point. Just look up the Chamber of Commerce. A lot of them have who's a member, and you could see who's in there. Oh yeah, Kevin said they make phone books just in smaller sizes. I haven't gotten a phone book in I don't know how many years. It's been a minute. Melanie made a good point that libraries have subscription to a lot of these services. Once you can go to a library, because we're still under a lockdown, but once you get into a library, they have a lot of resources. That's phenomenal. Again, first and foremost, talk to your clients, because they're the ones that are going to have the inside track to who you should call. Yeah, call Rhonda over at HR. She's the one who helped me. And then you get someone to ask for specifically, rather than can I talk to an HR person, because when you call in the front desk of any business and ask for a department and not a person, you're instantly labeled as another salesperson. And there's a good chance you'd be like, I'll send you to the voicemail, or can I take a message? You're not going to get through. But when you say, hey, can I talk to Rhonda over in HR? I'm calling about Bob who just retired there. Oh yeah, let me put you through. That phone call carries far more weight than someone calling on the blue. So use your resources, i.e. your clients, to help you get in there, because you help Bob, Bob's happy. Rhonda may be like, yeah, I don't know anything about Medicare. I don't care to know. I got enough on my plate. Send me your stuff. I'll take a look at it. And there's a good chance that next time Rhonda has a question, she's going to remember that you sent her something and helped her friend, Bob, who's been there for 20 years. And it's going to be a win-win-win situation. And that's what we're going for here. John asked a great question. During the shutdown situation, do you have a lot of success with HR managers? Probably not. This is something that you're going to want to build on. It's not something you do today and then you're done. This is something you're going to do for the next 5, 10, 15 years, because as you run across new clients, you're going to run across new opportunities. One thing you should always inquire on is your clients' lives. Where do they work? Do they belong to any organizations? In Johnson County, Missouri, there was a big black and gold organization that was designed for people who were retired. A lot of insurance agents tried to get in there. I did, and someone else beat me to the punch. That's fine. I moved on. So talk to your clients and get to know what they're doing, because the key thing here is, rather than try and pull clients to you, go to where they're going. Go to their businesses. Go to their organizations. Go to their civic groups, because that's where they are. It's always easier to go to them than try and pull them over into you. So right now it's going to be tough, but now you can start strategizing. You can build those call lists. You could talk to your clients. hey, did you retire from this place? Yeah, I've been trying to get a hold of them to help send them some information. Who do I talk to there? So use your best judgment, however you feel comfortable pursuing this, of course. Could you please, and Jackie asked a great question, could you please review which employer plan size should have EEs filed for Part A when they turn 65? Basically, any business of under 25 is going to be, Medicare is going to be primary. Any business of over 25, I think it's 20 or 25, I can't remember, too much stuff in my head, but their plan's going to be primary. I will caution this. On the compliance side of things, it is Medicare frowns, and they say they shouldn't. Medicare says that a business can't encourage people to come off group plan and take Medicare because that puts more pressure on the Medicare system. You should be offering retirement plans. So be very careful on treading those waters. Just do your due diligence. Use under 20 is COBRA. Thank you. Yeah, under 20 is basically when they're retiring, Medicare comes first, and over 20, their group insurance is first. That doesn't mean it's better though. Their group insurance that they're getting in retirement, maybe $300, $400, $500 a month, when they can get a Medicare supplement with no deductibles, no copays, only that Part G or Plan G, the Part B deductible, they can get that for maybe $120 a month, or they can have their group insurance for $300 a month. And that's when you have to go in and weigh out the pros and cons. Group insurance has these pros, Plan G or N or whatever you want to offer, or Plan F if they were eligible for Medicare prior to 2020. These are these pros, and weigh them out. And last thing I'll say about the client side of things is always track who has what in your CRM. Because I can tell you in Kansas City, Lucent Technologies, who actually their claim to fame was they made the dial tone that no one's ever heard because cell phones don't do that. But they came out when I was in the field full time with a retirement plan that basically mirrored Medicare. And their plan, and it charged them like $300-400 a month. It was exuberant. And it was basically saying, we'll give you insurance, but we're not going to promise you great insurance. We're going to give you something because we promised you, but we never promised you, the Rolls Royce of insurance. So through attrition, everyone left Lucent, and their plan worked because they didn't want to insure anybody anymore because it was very expensive. So they gave them bad insurance to push them off the plan. And when I went to my CRM, I had a handful of people that retired from Lucent Technologies that I called and said, hey, did you see your new benefits? I just worked with another retiree, and he was like, why do I have this anymore? And I got a handful of sales from reaching out to people that had Lucent Technology. So always pay attention in your CRM to who's retired from what on group coverage, because every year they're getting new plans, and that may be the year that their insurance goes straight into the proverbial bowl. Can you explain the Part A? Melanie asked about Part A, same time as group. You're going to have Part A the same time as group 99% of the time. So the order of events, what happens is, I'd say I was 65, which I know, like, Mike, you're not 65, you look it. Thank you, I appreciate that. But so I turned 65. I'm covered through senior marketing specialist, but I am still going to work because I'm still full of pep and energy that I'm not ready to retire yet. And my wife doesn't want me home all day, so I need to go to work. So I continue to work. I'm going to just decline Part B. Part A will be there. It's going to stay in the sidelines, and my insurance is going to pretty much cover everything as it did. As soon as I retire, then I'll pick up Part B because I have credible coverage. So that Part A is just going to linger in the background and basically do nothing. Now, there is rules in place that if I decline Part A and I'm taking Social Security as well, I can't do that. If I decline Part A, I cannot take out Social Security. So I've never seen anyone decline Part A of Medicare, ever. So it's, they're going to have Part A, and it's just going to linger, and that's it. Can you send us the link for clients to enroll in Social Security and Medicare? Yeah, it's just call Social Security. It's as simple as that. To enroll into Medicare, call Social Security. That's it. And if they're working or if they're collecting Social Security, it will be automatic. If they're not collecting Social Security, they will have to call enroll. But for a link for it, I don't know the link offhand, obviously. But I'm sure if you go ssa.gov, which is Social Security Administration.gov, it's built in there. I never involve myself in Social Security decisions with my clients, because that's when you're messing with their income and when should they enroll. Because like my father's a perfect example. He just got Social Security at 67 because he delayed it for another couple of years. So it depends on when they want to pick it up. And I always just advise my clients, call Social Security or go down to the office if it's convenient. And I left it at that. I did not want, I mean, I would say keep your job simple and don't overcomplicate the process. 1-800-772, I think it's 1313 or something like that, to say, here's the Social Security number office, give them a call and they'll take care of you. I never sent them any links or anything, because if you send the wrong link or if the link changes, then it's, gotta keep track of that. It's one more thing to worry about. And then you sent me the wrong link. And then, so yeah, the phone number hasn't changed. So I have it programmed in my phone, and I'll just give them the phone number and say, call and go nuts. Not the greatest resource, but you're dealing with the government. So who knows? Because I've sent out many links to clients and agents that I work with at Senior Marketing Specialists that eventually do break. And then it's just chaos. So just give out the phone number and call it good. I'm going to actually stop recording here. So thank you everyone for attending. We're not going anywhere. We're stopping the recording.